Yo, yo, welcome to the show, bro. You already know, folks. I'm a rush um, shit. Y'all better start talking now. Y'all better start talking now.
Amidst this tragedy, a life was lost due to another hanging incident not too far from Cleveland. 12 News' Delisha Banks joins us with that story. Delisha?
Jalen, 108 miles south of Cleveland, Mississippi, leads you to the city of Vicksburg, where a second person was found hanging from a tree on Monday. The Vicksburg Police Department responded to a wooded area near Ameristar Casino in the 4100 block of Washington Street a little after 1 p.m. Officials say they discovered a white male who was later identified as 35-year-old Corey Zucatis from Brandon. He was believed to be homeless, and one of his peers found him hanging from a tree.
He was homeless, but that particular area over there has become somewhat of a haven for homeless people. We also understand that the reason he was in Vicksburg, he's actually from Brandon, but the reason he was in Vicksburg is because he had recently participated in the River Rescue Mission, a part of their dependency program. Now, other than that, that's all we know. Again, our hearts and sympathy go out to the family. But we did make that death notification, and they are aware of it. They were aware that he was homeless. And it's just something that, another one of those things that we have to deal with, not only in the city of Vicksburg, but in the state of Mississippi.
Investigators detect no foul play with the death of Zucatis. His body was sent to the state crime lab for further examination. First District Illinois Congressman Jonathan L. Jackson, son of civil rights activist Jesse Jackson, spoke out Tuesday on behalf of what he calls lynching incidents in Mississippi. During his speech at the House of Representatives, he demanded a federal investigation be conducted by the DOJ to ensure justice and transparency. Congressman Jackson says, quote, "The echoes of these losses reach deep into our nation's history, a painful reminder that the shadows of racial violence and exclusion have not yet left us," end quote. This matter is still under investigation. Be sure to stay with 12 News as more details become available.
Hold on. Y'all gotta go
Locked up
me.
at Illinois Juvie, Cook Count, the Audi home, or anywhere else in the system, a global settlement may be...
Hold on. Y'all going with me.
Has stirred many emotions in this community and many emotions around the state and the nation. While the preliminary report of the Bolivar County Coroner's Office indicates no evidence of foul play, we recognize that this is not only about facts. It's about emotions and it's about feelings. And the way this loss and how it was discovered affects people's lives. And I'll further say that I admit that I am not adequate to speak to the imagery that this incident raises. I acknowledge my weakness in that regard. The second point I'd like to make before I turn it over to law enforcement is that the university and I personally have been in regular, frequent contact with next of kin. And I'll say, for those of you who are not used to how universities work, I'll take a moment to explain. When a student comes to this...
So, the one we just saw is the second body. The one they talking about was the student found in the woods or some shit.
University, or almost any university in America, they fill out a contact form. This applies to Trey Reed and applies to every other student at Delta State. The student chooses who to indicate is their personal contact. The student tells us their next of kin. And from the moment we discovered this, and from the moment law enforcement was engaged, 7:30 in the morning on Monday, this university has been in regular, frequent contact with the next of kin. Now we'll go ahead and acknowledge that the student always chooses their next of kin. Trey Reed gave us two names and the contact information for the people he wanted to be contacted in the event of emergency. And we have maintained contact with those two people. And I know this may seem like some kind of legalistic distinction, but this is how we have to operate. This was a choice made by the student, and a choice made by the student has to be respected even when the student's no longer with us. And I also acknowledge that there is a distinction between next of kin and family. And I acknowledge that both next of kin and family are grieving. But from the point of view of doing this correctly and right, and respecting the students' wishes, the university has been and will continue to be in direct contact with Trey's chosen names. And those individuals, they can choose to do what they will with the information and the communication we give them. So I ask everyone to please be respectful in the sense that this was a choice the student made and the university's.
Okay, so I see what it was about first. All right, because he was taking so long to fucking get there. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Fuck the university, nigga. Get to the shit.
Respecting his choice, he told us who he wanted us to talk to in the event of an emergency, and that's what we continue to do. And I can go ahead and say that I recognize that there is family, and some family are not the names that Trey gave us. I'm so sorry. We are sharing all the information we can, and we will continue to work through the people that this student.
Bro, I'm trying to think about every other possibility. You know what I'm saying? You got to try to just think about any other possibility besides the obvious of what it could possibly be.
Chose when he put his name on that form and he said, who do you want the university to contact in the event of emergency? And that's the kind of protocol that almost every university in America would follow. And if we do not follow that protocol, I don't think we're being respectful to the choice the student made. In other matters, I will go ahead and say that university continues to completely cooperate with multiple law enforcement agencies represented behind me, and that in every request regarding information, regarding evidence, regarding anything connected with this incident, we have been fully forthcoming and will continue to be so. And lastly, I want to say,
if you're in a situation to where you jumped inside, had a mess around.
Hold on, let me mute that for you. So, while we watch this commercial for a little second, what y'all think happened, man? Tell me in the comments.
We have to think about our losses and we have to think about our current students. So we are simultaneously grieving, we are simultaneously processing, and I think every minute about Trey. But I also have to think about my 2,800 other students and protect them as well. In that regard, we've been very grateful that we have had increased law enforcement presence on this campus. And unfortunately, that's because this campus has received threats. And my message to that regard would be, we have students here. They came here to get an education. And folks who threaten the institution are hurting the students. And we don't want that. We're supposed to be a place where students come to feel safe and to learn. That's our mission, and that's what we'll continue to do. With that, I will turn this over to Chief Feeler, who will address the investigation. Thank you.
Good morning. Delta State University Police continues to mourn the tragic loss of Trey Reed. Our hearts remain with his family, friends, and all who are affected during this deeply painful time. Following the discovery of the deceased on campus on Monday morning, and the release of Bolivar County Coroner's official statement, his body has been transported to the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's office. The Chief Medical Examiner began conducting a full autopsy this morning. Preliminary results are expected to be available within the next 24 to 48 hours. This joint investigation remains active, and the Delta State University Police is in full cooperation with all agencies involved.
Y'all think they put first 48 people on it?
This is an isolated incident. Due to the support of the state and local law enforcement and the increased law enforcement presence here at Delta State, there are currently no active threats to the campus, and the university remains a safe environment for students, faculty, and staff. Delta State Police, in conjunction with the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Bolivar County Sheriff's Office, and Cleveland Police Department, plans to provide another update once preliminary findings are released and the university officials have met privately with the next of kin. Out of respect for those grieving, we ask for continued patience and compassion as this investigation proceeds. Again, we extend our deepest condolences to those impacted by this tragedy. Support services remain available for anyone in need of assistance. And again, this deeply saddens us. He's one of ours. And so our hearts go out. We mourn as well. At this time, are there any questions?
Chief, Martin Staunton, Fox 13 News in Memphis. First question that comes out is, how was the statement foul play has been ruled out so soon when you just said a preliminary?
Super crazy. Super crazy that you could rule out foul play when you just starting preliminary autopsy. You feel me? They just start recording on what they finna do to the body and do the woo out the bang woo woo. You feel me? On the outside of it. So how could you? How could you honestly just jump out there and say it's? I know why you would, but how could you though?
Coroner's report hasn't even been released.
Thank you for your question. Again, the statement was initially, at this point, we didn't believe or have evidence of foul play.
Chief Ross Adams, 16 WAPT at Jackson. You talk about, again, the initial report about no foul play. Did you personally put your eyes on the student's body and how do you make a determination by making a physical observation without having any knowledge about what happened to that person's body?
Well, with the combined effort of Delta State Police, Cleveland PD, Bolivar County Sheriff's Office, yes.
Was that not like pretty much exactly the same question? Yes or no? That's all. Just a yes or no.
Did we lay eyes on the student? I did. I was there. I'm one of the first on the scene. And then again, it's an ongoing investigation.
But when you're asking my question and you're including all these different agencies, I'm asking about you, the head of the Delta State Police.
Again, I was there. I was the second officer from my department on the scene.
Yesterday, Trey's grandfather said that the first call he received, the officer told him that Trey was found in his room, but then the next call he received, and I'm quoting him, they said he hung himself. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, I don't have any knowledge of any calls that the grandfather received. I know I did speak to the grandfather for the next of kin, and outside of that, I can't answer what calls he received and who he received them from.
Chief, do any videos exist? There have been reports of alleged videos?
There are videos, and they're in the hands of the investigative team. Right now, Cleveland PD is leading the investigation. This is our investigation, but they are leading in the investigation.
So there was surveillance video that captured what happened to Trey on campus at the time of his death?
I can't speak at that at this moment. Again, there is video, but it's still, the investigation is ongoing.
Is there surveillance video that would have captured what happened in that area where his body was found in the pickleball courts?
Again, there's video out there, and we can't speak to that.
Hey, at some point, you have to know you're being redundant. You have to know you just being, come on, bro. You just rewording the question like a lawyer would do if they got overruled or some shit, or you know what I'm saying, objected or something. You know what I'm saying? Sustained. I mean, you feel me? Like whatever. But come on, folks. Just stop asking the same question. He literally just said that it's under investigation. He can't tell you shit that's on the video any motherfucking way. How does that help with the solving of it if he starts telling you every motherfucking thing that's going on?
They are leading in the investigation.
So there was surveillance video that captured what happened to Trey on campus at the time of his death?
I can't speak at that at this moment. Again, there is video, but it's still, the investigation is ongoing.
Is there surveillance video that would have captured what happened in that area where his body was found and took phone calls?
Again, there's video out there, and we can't speak to that at this moment. It's still an ongoing investigation.
Can you talk about the threats that remains on campus that you received?
My name's Cameron Salo. I'm Dylan Salo, and we're.
As y'all can tell, I ain't paying for no YouTube shit. So they ain't paying me. I ain't paying me.
The fact that, again,
in that area where his body was found and took phone calls.
Again, there's video out there, and we can't speak to that at this moment. It's still an ongoing investigation.
Can you talk about the threats that remains on campus that you received President alluded to?
Just the fact that, again, emotions are arising, people are calling, and I don't have a specific threat yet, but again, the threats may be phone calls that staff and students are receiving, but specific threats, I don't have those at this time.
Could we get President Ennis to address those specific threats, because you talked about the increased law enforcement, and can you tell us the nature of the threats that have been received?
So we will defer to law enforcement regarding whether these threats are credible. Right now, the law enforcement behind me and those joining with Delta State have declared the campus remains safe. I don't need to point you all to people on social media saying things about this campus, some of which sound threatening. We hope that they would stop entirely. Law enforcement will determine if anybody is really a credible threat to the campus.
I mean, when it comes down to it, you really can't tell what happened right now. You know what I'm saying? And maybe at some point later on, maybe in 2 days, who knows? They'll have an update of what really happened. But until then, you can't just jump out the window always forming an opinion. You know what I mean? Well, you can form an opinion, but you really shouldn't be just, jumping to conclusions and saying this is a fact, that this is what happened, and then just acting off of that. You know what I mean? That's an emotional decision that people should not be making. At some point, you got to know that emotions get in the way of you actually being a human being, if you didn't know that.
Campus. They can run down names. They can figure out if someone is simply being a troll online or whether there's somebody who might actually take action. At this point, we don't have any credible threats that I'm aware of, and law enforcement will let me know. But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when someone calls the office and says that this is a terrible place and that people should be hurt. And I hope that that's just empty threats, but offices, phones are ringing, and unfortunately, and I'll go ahead and say this, like many universities, our phones are manned mostly by student workers. So can you imagine a student worker, 19-year-old sophomore, who's got a part-time job answering an office phone, a totally normal thing on the college campus, picks up the phone and someone uses profanity and says something that implies violence. So we have had to change our whole protocol regarding answering the phone, and the same for online posts. And looking the balance between free speech, people can of course get online and say what they want, and protecting our students and faculty and staff. So I reiterate what the chief said. Our law enforcement experts are following every lead, and they're analyzing every post and every phone call to see if there's a credible threat.
Sir, Martin Stoner, Fox 13 Memphis. In the current climate, in the dismantling of DEI programs across the country on college and university campuses, how would you describe the state of race relations here at Delta State University?
Ooh, yo, that's tough. So I'm pretty sure everybody in this motherfucker should know what DEI is. That's where they just giving out jobs to whoever, regardless if you're qualified or not, due to this equal opportunity shit that they're trying to get across. So you could be slightly moronic and get the same job as a scholar. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know how people view me. I don't know how people view me. I just don't like motherfucking idiots, right? And that's through all races. So if that makes me racist, then that's what I guess, nigga. But I doubt it, cause I fuck with everybody. You dig what I mean? Like, I don't. You can't be around me on no moronic shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not finna. You not gonna hang close to me and be an idiot. It's not happening. That shit, I did that already. We're not doing that no more. So that's what I don't fuck with. So I wouldn't jump to that right out my head. Yeah, instant. But then you got to think. You know, I'm not gonna speculate on what could have happened about shit. But I don't jump right to that because I know too many cool everybody's. You know what I'm saying? It's idiots in every race. So this could be this could be anything, right? This could be anything.
In the student body.
To that question one more time.
Programs across the country on college and university campuses, how would you describe the state of race relations here at Delta State in the student body?
One of the things I love about Delta State,
I don't know if that was I would like to say that was more of a let me see how I should say this instead of a this shit's terrible. I shouldn't say. You know what I mean? I would say that was more of a let me see how I should say this.
is that it's what America should be. I've got 40% African American students, and they eat and play and work and learn beside white people. And yeah, there's always tensions on every college campus. There's always disagreements. I was in the gym the other night playing pickup basketball. I know it's hard to imagine, but and the pickup basketball just happened to be 3 white guys, one of which was me, and 3 black guys, and that was not remarkable. That was not unusual on this campus. I'm not saying this is heaven, but I'm saying I can walk into my cafeteria right now and see black people and white people eating together. I walk into my classroom on Tuesday morning, and I didn't count heads, but my classroom looked like America. And so I can't speak to the hearts of how individual students are reacting to this. I can say that my heartbreak is comprehensive, not just for Trey, although it is primarily for Trey, but for the fact that the rest of the world has an impression of Delta State that is so at odds with what I know to be this institution. This institution should not be associated with hate or hate crimes. If people knew this place, they look at it and say, wouldn't it be better if America was more like Delta State University? And we'll continue to be that in our little community, and the rest of the world will not know the joy and the grace of people living and working together and respecting each other. I'm not going to speak to the larger issue, DEI. I'll say we should live in a world where we don't need anything but decency and respect. And I feel that at this place or I wouldn't be here. Richard Wright. And those of you from out of state, you should know that Mississippi has produced extraordinary authors, and Richard Wright is one of the best from Natchez. Richard Wright said that history comes on us, and it surges up, and it's fused and tangled. And so I acknowledge that this history, the imagery, is fused and tangled in people's identities. And sometimes we can't unknot it, we can't untangle it. But here is one of the best places.
I'm sorry, guys. I've untangled it. Let me explain to you why. First, ever since I was born, probably my OG, rest in peace, I love you, man. Probably my OG, maybe a little bit of my grandma's life, maybe. She was born in 1933. So, yeah, possibly in her life. I don't think it was a lot unless she was, down south. But my big mama, yeah, she did all that. She saw that part. So that's how many generations you know what I'm saying, big papa saw that. Yeah, no, all that. Yeah, so that's how many generations I am removed from it. So that ain't entangled in me. And I don't understand why people want to pick up something that don't got nothing to do with them. Literally speaking, ever since you been out this motherfucker, you been able to get a paycheck. Ever since 15, if they had that little working program or whatever at your high school, you was able to get a paycheck. So let's not compare this to nothing like that, because we don't have. Fuck out of here. Y'all asses fucking weirdos. You niggas got nothing to attach yourself to in your own life, so you just attach yourself to a lot of shit that don't got nothing to do with you.
Is to start to pick at that knot and to acknowledge that situation and to build off of it. So I've gone a little further than your question. I thank you for your question. But I have faith that our students will model the better angels that we all should have.
A follow-up to this question. Specifically, has there been recent incidents of racial tension on campus?
Not that I'm aware of.
Reed's family has retained a lawyer, and they said they want to launch an independent investigation. Would you be willing to cooperate with that?
Delta State will cooperate with any investigation related to this incident, but I reiterate that our duty is to engage with the next of kin when it comes to who I speak to and what information I give and what questions I answer.
So are those next of kin, are they family members, those two individuals that you all have been speaking with?
They're the individuals that Trey chose as his emergency contacts and next of kin. They can decide if they want to be public. I will not make them public because that's their choice and their privacy.
I have a question for Chief.
Smart man.
Martin Stone.
I ain't gonna lie, he diplomatically answered that, and he got his point across. See, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm looking at the shit wrong, but this shit right here, this shit is a hard spot to be in for certain people. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard spot to be in. This dude right here is probably hard for him to see it. You know what I mean? And his mind get to rambling. But he got to stay unbiased because he got a job to do. And I think if people stay unbiased in situations until shit come up and shit be done and you get the full, you feel me? Just be cool, bro.
And Fox 13 Memphis. So if the autopsy is underway, it sounded like as we speak, when will that body be available for the independent autopsy that the family announced? And they're asking for that announcement coming yesterday.
Again, as soon as we receive we expect in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll have the results. I'm not sure at this time when that will be available to the family or the public. At this time, I don't have that information.
Will that be the preliminary? Will that be, you said that will be the preliminary?
Preliminary, yes.
And how long will it take to get the definitive result of the autopsy?
Don't have that information.
Chief, we know the body was found Monday morning. Do we know when the hanging took place? Was it sometime Sunday?
That's still being investigated right now.
I have one more question for the president. Sir, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
My name is Dan Ennis, E-N-N-I-S.
Thank you.
It rhymes with tennis, not other.
Ennis is my sister's middle name. Rest in peace. I love you. I see you.
Words.
I feel your emotion. How are the other students handling it? What counseling services are being given to the rest of the student body here, especially among the friends of Trey?
I want to give credit and thanks to our entire student support services. That includes our student affairs, our counselors, our coaches, our faculty. Basically, any person on this campus who works at Delta State has opened themselves up to students, formally and officially and professionally, through our Counseling Services Center. And our counselors, of course, were on duty. They're always on duty, but they've been on extra duty. But then, of course, some students reach out to their coach. They reach out to a professor. And we have had frequent communication about being sensitive and directing students to professional help. And I think that's one of the things that we will never, ever get perfect, but universities always try to be more perfect at, which is connecting students with counseling and professional help when they need it. And we know, I'm talking in general terms about college students now, I'm not speaking to this case, we know that students walk around with invisible burdens, and when they even become a bit visible, we have to give them someone to talk to. I also want to thank our colleagues at other Mississippi universities. We have been offered and have accepted help of additional counseling services, other counselors from other universities, and the Cleveland City School District. They, of course, have counselors as well, and the superintendent immediately contacted me and offered those services. I'm confident we have sufficient counselors. I was in the student health office yesterday, spoke to the counselors, and while they have been steady and busy, they have not been overwhelmed. But we also know that this is not just this week, that some of the students, all the students, will need support for weeks and months to come, and we're determined to keep giving them that support.
Chief, have friends of Trey's been interviewed or talked to?
Again, that's a part of the investigation, and it's ongoing.
He could keep saying that and he'll be exactly right to say it because he can't divulge that type of information. You understand? Mind your motherfucking business.
Lay eyes on the young man after his body was found. Is there evidence that you see something next to the tree to indicate that he put himself up in the tree?
Again, that's an ongoing investigation. I can't, I don't have that information, nor can I share it.
You don't have it? You are on the scene, right? So you were the scene.
Again, it's an ongoing investigation, and I can't answer this.
Do we know who called in? Was it a student or?
Again, that's all part of the investigation. All right?
It's
and
a case.
We'll have one more question.
We were told that the City Bureau of Investigation would be here, but they're not here.
They are here.
Are they speaking?
They are here. Yes, to answer your question, they are
No,
here.
we were told they would be at the news conference and they would speak.
They are here in this room.
Are
Yes.
they not speaking?
No, not this room. They don't have an official statement at this point.
And so we don't know how Mr. Reed could have gotten up to the tree at this time?
Again, ongoing investigation.
What?
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
What the fuck is wrong with people, bro? You fuckers don't got no sense. Keep asking the same questions. Look, this is what I really want to know. I really want to know every other thing that could have happened. That's what I want to know. I want y'all to put that in the comments. If you see this video before we find out what happened, I want y'all to put that in the comments. Literally tell me what anything besides that first thing. Anything. Just put it in there. On me, on you, on everything. Rest in peace to Trey. We'll be back with another react. Y'all stay alive, man. Real shit.